Tammy Drawbaugh, Mary Wildermuth, Nathan Mather, Aaron Finn, John DeBeat, Toby McCarter, and Randy Neighbor. I just want to thank you personally and as a community for the work that you do to make our school system operate smoothly and in the best interest of our kids. So thank you to the school board. This is kind of the who's who of Muscatine, so I'm not going to go through and note all of our folks of note, because all of you for showing up today certainly qualify for that. This is an exciting time to be a Muskie, and it's really a pivotal time for us, for our district and for our entire community. There is a very positive vibe that's going through our town, and certainly through our school system. There's an energy, there's a renewal in our district, in our community, that is fueled by both performance and by development with a vision for a brighter future. We are on the move, and the most important thing is we're moving in the right direction. Over the last few years, we have worked really hard to bring a rigorous curriculum, a forward-looking curriculum, a challenging curriculum. We have worked hard to bring the very best teachers and administrators to our district, and we worked really hard to make sure that we are working with our community for the best interests of our community. And I can't say enough for the people that I get to work with every day, and I'm humbled by the folks that I get to work with every day. And Muscatine certainly can take pride in those folks. Today we're going to share how the Muscatine School District is working to make our schools and our community better. We're going to be showing you a video, and I'm going to give all the credit of that to Chad Bishop at MCC for putting this together, but he took what we had wanted to capsulate and did a great job with that. And what we're hoping to use this for as a marketing tool, not only for our school system, but for our community, because we feel we have a lot to offer in this town. We feel that anybody that doesn't live here and doesn't send their kids to school here are really missing out. And so we want to promote that and promote our entire community. One of the things that make us special, and when I say us, our community, we have some great partners in this town. We work so closely with Muscatine Community College. Dr. DeWinter has been a great partner. Step by step, the things we've done, Muscatine Community College has been there with us. The Aligned Impact Muscatine AIM has been a great shot in the arm for us in working with everything from attendance to how are we going to improve kids getting to post-secondary training, how are we going to be working with their parents and getting additional training. Trinity Muscatine, the hospital has been unbelievable. The work that we've been able to do in the area of mental health with our family navigators has been a game changer in our community. We are a part of this community. The school system is a part of this community. We are not apart from the community. The kids that we serve come from our town. The businesses that support us and support our work come from our town. And the people that really depend on us to give a quality education, they are our community. They are our town. This last couple of years, there's been a statewide focus on developing the workforce of tomorrow for Iowa. And it is so important because if we're going to be competitive, not just locally, and I know a number of you here in this room are working every day to make sure that your business continues to be competitive in not only in Iowa, nationally, internationally, but we're going to need to have a workforce that can meet that need. We have been a partner with Governor Reynolds in a bipartisan effort to how do we improve that workforce. The governor's goal of having 70% of the workforce have some training beyond high school is a lofty goal. But when you look at what the jobs are going to be looking like in the future, that is a necessary goal. My dad graduated from school in the 8th grade, and he was able to do everything he really probably wanted to do in life with that. Then it became, if you graduated from high school, you could probably do everything you need to do. Today, a high school diploma is simply not enough. You need more than that to be successful. So today, you're going to hear a lot. You're going to hear everything from ACT to Academies. You're going to hear from AP to Activities, and all of those things are part of what we're doing to try and prepare kids for life after school. Our students have the opportunity to learn within a rigorous curriculum, take part in leadership, developing activities, and build post-secondary credit while wearing the purple, the Muskie purple and gold. This morning, Mike McGrory and Becky Witchers will be sharing some details of the fruit of that labor. And we are very proud of the fact that our financially, we are very stable. We're very proud of the fact that our kids are achieving, our program is solid, and we're also very proud of the fact that we are continuing to improve our facilities. Muscatine has a lot to be proud of. And the work that Becky and Mike do every day has really turbocharged that effort. And we would not be here today without the work that they continue to do. And when I say I'm humbled by the people I work with, that goes to our support staff, our teachers, our administrators, our principals, the people in this building. We have a lot to be proud of. So I'm going to let them kick this off with some of the details of that.
Thank you, Dr. Reeby. Good morning, and thank you for taking the time to find out more about what's going on in our district. Becky and I today are very excited to be able to share out some of the things, real positive trends, kind of what Jerry was talking about that's going on in our district currently. Our overview this morning will focus on two main areas: how the district is providing more academic opportunities as well as programs to enable students to excel academically, but also programs that are helping our students socially and emotionally as well. Our other focus area this today, and you probably have heard a lot about this, is defining what is the Muskie way and why that permeates. The Muskie way permeates everything we do as a district and all of our decision making. We'll be showing you, as Jerry said, a video in a few minutes that will kind of give you an overview of all the programs and opportunities that we've implemented in the last few years. And also, it will illustrate that our students are flourishing within these opportunities. Prior to the video, I'm going to highlight some of the programs and opportunities that are available to students. But first, I'm going to turn it over to Becky, and she's going to kind of highlight what is the Muskie way.
In the fall of 2015-16 school year, our district advisory committee, comprised of teachers from all levels and buildings, began discussing, creating, and streamlining the Muskie way, putting students first, and making that statement the core of our decision making. With this discussion in mind, and in collaboration with students, staff, parents, and community members, the decision was made to unite the Muskies across our district. Our hope is that our students will thrive in their new educational environments and take great pride in standing over with 5,000 of their fellow Muskies. Our decision is to unite as one. Everything we are doing is aligned with the Muskie way, from new furniture that has a purple and gold palette, painted hallways of purple, gold, and gray tones, to Muskie signage both on the exterior and interior walls of our buildings. We know that students learn best in a positive and supportive environment, and that this, too, is a factor in each student's success story. Our district's vision of every student is a success story transcends into the Muskie way. Decisions are based on students' needs and directly tie into providing whatever it takes to be a Muskie forever. The video highlights the Muskie way and creates a feeling of once a Muskie, always a Muskie. Mike will now share some information regarding to our academic rigor.
Thanks, Becky. The district initiatives in the video will show the following: how our district has increased the college and career readiness opportunities of students, but not only just our college students that are going on to college, but also our students that are going right from the high school to the workplace. The videos also will point out that we're one of a handful of schools in Iowa that currently require and pay for the ACT of all of our students. The videos will also point out that we're one of a few districts in Iowa that actually pay for the AP exam as well. And by our district doing that, what we're really committing to is ensuring that all students can take rigorous curriculum. We also are a handful of districts in Iowa that's offering what we call the pre-AP rigorous program, 5th through 11th grade. as well as requiring the Aspire exam. The Aspire exam will prepare our students for the ACT, and obviously that's one of the barometers if they want to move on to college. We thought right now would be a good time you have in front of you to do an activity with the group, and Becky's going to kind of do this activity to give you some idea of what pre-AP curriculum, how rigorous it is. So we hope you are successful with this. So.
Yeah, so let's have some fun. Are you smarter than an MCSD 5th grade pre-AP math student? And don't answer that question quite yet. So I'd like you to look at problem number 1 on your math sheet. When you feel you have the correct answer, please raise your hand. You can begin.
I don't see any hands yet.
This is an untimed assessment, but if you feel you are close to the correct answer, raise your hand. There is a prize involved, sometimes motivation. Oh,
we have a hand.
Yes, we have a hand. 1106. You know, we appreciate you trying. Could we have some more help? Yes, yes. We have a winner, yes, Mr. Ingstead. So Lisa Bunn has one of our new Muskie t-shirts as a prize. So in kicking off the theme of uniting all students and buildings as Muskies, purple and gold apparel was created so that all could share in the excitement of this new theme and everyone being called a Muskie. So yes, the correct answer was in 60 minutes, which would be midnight. So let's just try one more. Let's go to number 7. Raise your hand if you feel you'd like to share the correct answer. We're all giving you some private reasoning time. Administrators, you are free to answer as well. We have a winner, 1,800 frames. So, Mr. Toby, we have a t-shirt for you. So this just gives you an example of what our 5th graders are exposed to on a regular daily basis. And feel free to take this with you and share with your colleagues and see if they are smarter than an MCSD 5th grader. Mike, back to you.
Thanks. Also, one of the things Jerry talked about previously was about our collaborations with community members. And one of the things that's going to be highlighted in our video as well is all of our many collaborations we have with community members, but one in particular, Trinity. As Jerry mentioned, we're very proud of that relationship, and it really has led to our district being one on the front end of providing meeting the social emotional needs of our students. And we're very excited by that, and you're going to see in the video all the different things that we've added socially, emotionally, to help our students be more successful. And finally, in the information, the video, you're going to see, and this really, I'm sincere about this, is how amazing our students are. When presented with opportunities, our students not only embrace, but they excel within those opportunities. And you're going to see in the video how impressive those results are. An example of our students flourishing in response to the district initiatives implemented over the past few years is the district's recent recognition by the University of Iowa. The University of Iowa just recognizes one district a year as a school of distinction. MCSD was recognized by the University of Iowa at a recent ceremony as not only as a school of distinction, but also as one of the top AP schools in the state. The School of Distinction designation was earned by the district for recommending and providing high levels of rigorous opportunities for students. The award also acknowledges and applauds students for embracing those opportunities as well. So with that, we're going to start the video, and I hope you enjoy it.
I'm Stacy Olson. I'm an instructional coach at Jefferson, and I also co-teach pre-AP at 5th grade at Jefferson. And as a 5th grader at all of our elementary schools, you have two options for math. You can take the Engaged New York math option, and then last year we started the pre-AP math option. So it's a pre-AP course to get them prepared so that they can take AP courses in high school. The pre-AP at the 5th grade level is actually 6th grade standards. And part of the pre-AP curriculum is being very rigorous and making math applicable to real life. So there was a lot of real world problems, a lot of group work. There would be a reporter, a recorder, a runner, and a leader. So they had to facilitate the discussions and move the story problems and move the group work along.
Well, with the pre-AP, it makes me think harder. I think that the questions better instead of like with the traditional, I think I know more stuff.
My mindset changed throughout the year, and because when I first went into it, I wasn't as confident in math, and then once the year was over, I felt a lot more confident, like unwrapping assessments and stuff, because we would go over it and do the learning targets.
And then once I got into pre-AP, and then I was like, I think I can maybe like do better in like next year. And then it like helped me like think that I was like better at math than I was in 4th grade.
My future plans are to keep on going with Springboard and to keep going throughout college and working hard on my math.
Hello, my name is Chris Nienhaus. I'm currently serving as co-principal at West Middle School, and I'm also the district testing coordinator. Today I'd like to discuss some of the outstanding results that we're seeing as far as our standardized tests go. So as most of you know, the ACT test is a test that colleges and universities used for students to gain entrance into the college, as well as for some scholarship opportunities. The ACT Aspire test is a test that we give to students in grades 3 through 10 throughout our district. And this test measures the students' readiness levels to take the actual ACT test.
Taking the ACT Aspire helped me prepare for the ACT test because it was kind of the same formatting of the questions. So it was kind of like basing off the actual ACT, but it was more kind of easier and more focused on like a certain area. So it kind of gave us a feel of what the actual test was going to be about.
Yeah, even like comparing like the differences in like the subjects, like science between the Aspire and the actual test are very similar. Like it's like giving you data and like a bunch of like huge paragraphs where you like taking the Aspire like gets you used to knowing what you need to read and like how to answer those kinds of questions.
So they take the ACT Aspire grades 3 through 10, and then in grade 11 our district actually pays for all of our 11th grade students to take the ACT test. And we're one of the only schools in the state of Iowa that does that for our students.
I think the benefits would be most people wouldn't have taken it if they weren't like forced to. So now that they have taken it, they do have a score. So that way when they go to apply to colleges, they have a score they can go off of.
Yeah, and even knowing that like whether or not you're going to college, knowing that you have that score and that the school is willing to help you obtain it is like a very huge motivation.
In 2018, the ACT Aspire test, it measures 4 different areas, content areas: reading, English, math, and science. We actually had the highest percentage that we've ever attained of our students, the scores that they needed to be at or above benchmark in all 4 areas. We also had 289 juniors take the ACT test this last year that the district paid for. Okay, our average composite score was 19.3. This is the highest average composite we've had since we started to pay for the test for the students. I'd also like to discuss some advanced placement courses and their scores. If you don't know what advanced placement is, it's basically students taking college-level courses in high school. The past few years, we've seen significant increases in both the number of courses that we offer for advanced placement, but also the number of students that are enrolled in those courses. About 7 years ago, we had about 60 students and about 150 seats in advanced placement courses. This year, we currently have almost 800 students enrolled in almost 1,300 seats for advanced placement or for pre-AP courses. In the middle school level, we also offer pre-AP, and we have over 500 students enrolled in over 1,000 seats in those courses in pre-AP. Much like the ACT test, where we pay for the students to take that test, we also, in the past year, decided to pay for all students in AP courses to take the AP test. And that's a pretty significant cost. It's about $90 per test, so our students no longer have to fund that.
The cost of AP tests is so high. Like for me personally, I'm taking 7 this year, and I know that if the school had not offered to pay for all those classes, I would definitely not be taking all of those because of how expensive it would be for me.
Our average AP score was 2.71, which is the second highest average we've had in the past 6 years. Almost 60% of our students passed the AP test that they took last year with a score of 3 or higher. And in the past 3 years, Muscatine High School has been in the top 20 in the state of Iowa in AP Index. AP Index basically gives the average number of tests your graduates would take in their high school career. So if you had an AP Index of 1, that means on average, every graduate at Muscatine High School would take 1 AP test. Our average last year was 1.6, and we expect that average to go up even more this year.
I chose to take these courses because in the regular base level classes, I feel like I would be bored. So it's kind of a challenge for me to go through this process and these classes in order to receive a higher education and have a better knowledge of things that would help me in college.
Yeah, and like Mateo said, it does really prepare you for how rigorous college courses will be, because you get the knowledge of like, oh, this is like how you should be able to time out your day. Like you should leave this much room for studying and this much room for personal stuff. So it's kind of getting early knowledge on how to manage the rest of your life.
The workload in the AP classes, I think, reflects more of the workload in college, because a lot of the base level classes and my friends that are taking base level courses, they don't really have a lot of homework. They do, but at the same time they don't. But compared to the amount of homework that I do, I feel like I'm better prepared to enter college and know what's expected of me and like how much I'm gonna have to work in that class.
Yeah, and the teachers of courses are very honest with you. They're like, you need to get this much done in this certain amount of time, and it's up to you how you manage your time. And they just let you know, and that's, I think, very similar to how a college course would act out. They let you know that you need to do this and this, so you need to figure out how to get it done.
They're not gonna hold your hand and put you through it. It's all up to you to finish what you need to get done.
I'm Naomi DeWinter, and I serve as the president of Muscatine Community College. Concurrent enrollment gives the students in high school the ability to be enrolled both in high school and in the college. That's where that concurrent word comes into play. And they can get a head start on earning college credits in fields that they're exploring and that are meaningful to them. So for example, we have concurrent enrollment in agriculture. Agriculture is a field in high demand in Iowa. It's one of our signature programs here at the college. The faculty at Muscatine High School are trained to teach college-level courses within their agriculture program. So the students can get college prepared by taking advantage of these opportunities in fields such as agriculture and in many other areas. The courses are offered for free to the students. And so not only are they getting a head start academically, they're getting a head start financially by taking advantage of these concurrent options. We have a dedicated advisor at Muscatine High School, Anabilia Calderon Flores, who works with currently enrolled students to make a path for them for what they should be doing after high school. So we look at concurrently enrolled classes not just as a spattering of courses, but as a way to get a head start towards the next goal. What comes after Muscatine High School, and how can they apply those credits directly into a certificate or degree program? So currently we have 3 career academies that are running in advanced manufacturing, in welding, and in culinary arts. And I'm very thankful for our partnership with Muscatine High School to really launch these important academies that will satisfy a need for employees trained in these areas right in our region. So one way to do this is to get a head start with high school seniors getting a credential or a certificate in these 3 areas. So students complete basically 16 to 18 credit hours in their senior year in welding, culinary, or advanced manufacturing, and each of those programs results in a certificate. They can become immediately employed with those skills that they've earned, or they can transfer that certificate into an associate degree after they graduate from high school. Let me give you an example. In culinary arts, right now we have several students involved. At the very beginning, they're already getting internship hours at the country club and at the Merrill Hotel. So when we talk about hands-on learning, when we talk about preparation for careers, this is really the model where they spend some time in the classroom, which is the Button Factory next to the Merrill Hotel, and then one day a week they are doing actual prep for events and banquets. So this is a pipeline into high demand careers. It's a pipeline into degree programs, and it's a pipeline to our scholarships. So just like concurrent enrollment, students' tuition is paid by the high school. And after they graduate from high school, students will have earned enough credits to qualify for a connection scholarship, which is half off of their tuition within their first year. On top of that, the MCC Foundation has awarded $325,000 in scholarships, so students would be eligible to fill any gaps that they have with our scholarship funds. So this is really a great model for students. We've doubled the numbers in our career academies between last year and this year, and we've added the welding program because there's such a high demand locally for qualified welders.
I'm Kim Warren. I'm the director of Aligned Impact Muscatine. And Aligned Impact Muscatine is housed at the United Way office, and we're a collaboration that focuses on increasing high school graduation, post-secondary enrollment, and the education and retraining of adults in our community. So Aligned Impact Muscatine, our leadership council is made up of people from education, business, nonprofit, and government. And we decided that it's important for the community to really help support the Muscatine School District's attendance initiative. We know that if students are not in school, they can't learn. If they're not in school, their likelihood of graduating from high school is reduced, and their likelihood of going into post-secondary education is also less likely if they're not in school learning. And we know that in today's economy, if a student doesn't get some sort of education or training after high school, that they're most likely not going to be able to get a job that can support themselves and their family. So Aligned Impact Muscatine's Leadership Council has also had a lot of major employers in town talk with them about the struggles they have with their employees' attendance. And when we look at the data, we see that attendance problems start as early as kindergarten. So we really think that the community helping support the school district's attendance initiative will later help on our major employers. Aligned Impact Muscatine has a strategy network that's really focused on helping increase the percent of students that come to school regularly. We do have a group of service providers that work with school administration and the resource navigators in the school for families that are in crisis to help them figure out how to remove barriers for students and families where the students are chronically absent a lot of the time. And then we're also working with school administration to have a community-wide marketing campaign that you'll see coming out in the next couple of months, because we really want the community to have a unified message around the importance of attendance. We know the schools are doing a lot within their buildings, and we think adding on the support of the community can really enhance what they're doing.
I'm Joni Anderson. I'm a counselor at Central Middle School, and I've been in the district for 22 years. Over the years, we have noticed that as our relationships with families grow, the requests for outside services and supports for students have increased. I've had families approach me for support from everything from mental health, medical needs, housing needs, food, and clothing. So in response to these ever-increasing outside needs, the district added resource navigators to partner with us so we can ensure we provide a quality education for every student.
I'm Allison Thomas, and I'm one of 3 resource navigators that was hired in a partnership between the school district and Trinity Muscatine Public Health to partner together and attempt to provide outside supports for any students and families that are in crisis in our community. When an administrator, a nurse, or a counselor identifies that a student needs outside supports, the resource navigators will meet with the family, sign releases, communicate with them the different options there are in the community, and then we make sure we communicate back to the school district what's happening so that we just keep that communication going and make sure that the care is really being received. We absolutely love being a part of a school district that's addressing the needs of students holistically.
My name is Troy Coolin. I've been a school counselor now with the Muscatine School District for the past 16 years. We are very fortunate that our school district has put a lot of resources and money into our student support services. Since last year, we went through having half-time counselors in every elementary to full-time counselors in every elementary school. In the past, when a family in crisis would come in, we would usually take us a day or two to get them the help they need and the resources. Now, with having a resource navigator, when a family comes in crisis, we are able to meet their needs immediately. In the past, we would have to really take our time and have to build those relationships, and having a resource navigator has helped us bridge that gap between really the community service world and ours. And it's allowed us to really meet the needs of every single one of our families that come into our building.
A huge part of what we've done as a team is to try and focus on meeting the mental health needs of students and families in our district. We've tried to invite more agencies to be involved, especially at the elementary level, and to come in and provide therapy during school hours for families that can't get to therapy outside of school time.
My name's Andy Whirling. I'm the assistant principal at Muscatine High School. This is my 5th year in the district. The crown jewel of our fine arts program is the new investment in the performing arts that we have. We've got a great degree of school board support and community support for our performing arts programs. The school board made a very generous and much needed donation of $1 million for instruments district-wide. And that's been incredibly beneficial. So we've been able to provide instruments in students' hands that we otherwise may not have been able to reach, and give them top-of-the-line instruments that they can be proud of and perform at their best. And that's been incredibly beneficial for our music education as well as our culture education for the district. So for the first time in school history, our jazz ensemble has competed in the state jazz competition. That's a milestone for the program, something we've been working towards for years and years. Marching band received another Division I rating. That's their 15th in 17 years and really speaks to the tradition of the Mighty Muskie Marching Band. as well as having 3 all-state band students this year. It's a program that continues to build and build. We also have 150 members in our marching band and concert band. That's the most that we've ever had in that 17-year time period. Our chorus department has grown from 180 members over the last 3-4 years prior to this year up to over 220 members. So we have a great, strong chorus department with incredibly talented students there. Since 2015, we have doubled on average the number of all-state Division I competitors that we've had, including 9 Division I competitors from the Iowa High School Music Association statewide competition. So it really speaks to more students, more talent in the program. Those students are being incredibly successful, and it's going to carry them beyond high school. We're really proud of the growth in our orchestra program. They've grown from one of the smaller in eastern Iowa 6, 7, 8 years ago to starting about 5 years ago. They have doubled in size and are now the first or second largest in the entire state of Iowa. That's a lot of talented kids that we're able to reach in a large part to the $1 million investment from the school board.
Join me in thanking Chad Bishop for putting together today's program. And also Lisa Bunn for putting together today's event. As a district, we're very proud of our accomplishments of our students in recent years, and we're excited by the positive direction our district is going. I would like to point out at this time, even with all these extended programs and these extended opportunities, our district is in excellent financial shape. Our cash reserves have increased from 9.9 to 24.2, and our unspent balance authority has grown from 7.8 to 16.1 over the last 5 years. I applaud the financial vision and guidance of our superintendent, our school board, and also our chief financial officer, Tom Anderson. I also have many people I want to thank and credit for the positive trends that you saw today. I want to thank our superintendent for his outstanding leadership and our school board for supporting all the initiatives over the past few years. I also additionally want to thank our teachers and our staff as a whole for everything they do on a daily basis. As many of you know, we have amazing educators that we're so proud of, and it is truly an honor to work with them. I also want to thank our parents and community members for all your support. I've said this many times, I've never been in a district where the level of support from the community is as high as it is in Muscatine. So we thank you for that as well. The collective commitment and dedication of the before-mentioned groups is creating exciting opportunities for our students and preparing students for successful futures. But I do have one favor to ask the audience, is could you please help us get the word out of all these positive things going on in our district? A lot of times, the members that are here today are the people that our community go to, and we really would appreciate your support on that because we're very proud, and I think we have a lot to brag about. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Reevy to continue our program.
Thanks, Mike. And Mike is absolutely right. We have a lot to be proud of. As I was watching that video, you know, one of the things that I guess our business, we are in the hope business. We have, excuse me, if people don't have hope, they have absolutely no reason to try and improve their lot in life. And one of the things that hope sounds like was those I think it was elementary and a sixth grader, talked about, I'm a confident learner and I want to do more. That's what hope sounds like, and that's what we need for each and every one of our students. So as I watch that video, I just think of all the futures that that are going to be different because of the fact that they've been a Muskie. Well, an important part of serving our community is to try and anticipate what's going to be needed in the future and to make sure that we are ahead of the curve. We want to be the most efficient, the most effective with our resources. We want to make sure we keep ahead of change so that, that we have an opportunity to impact what that change will look like and not be the victim of change. You don't have to go very far down the road to see what happens when a district doesn't do that. When a district ignores the fact that there's declining enrollment, that they don't make some significant facility changes and resource changes, all of a sudden you're in a spot where you have very few choices, and we do not want to be in that position. We are going to continue to grow and thrive in this community, and we're going to make sure we match our mission to reality. We have a number of facility issues in our district. We have a number of aging buildings that we're going to have to deal with. Iowa as a whole has an aging problem. Could be the poster child for that. The state is aging, and what happens with an aging population is that you have fewer students. Most districts in Iowa, well over 80% of the districts in Iowa, are seeing reductions in enrollment. And that is something we can deal with. It does not mean disaster. It certainly does mean we have an opportunity to do some things differently. And we also have a changing society. And with that changing society, there's different dynamics that have to be dealt with and that we have to deal with to make sure that we are serving our population. If you exclude Jefferson from our elementary buildings, our average age of our elementary building is a little over 60 years old. Central Middle School was built in 1938, and even though I constantly hear that West is our new middle school, it was built in 1960. And I know most of you would say, well, 60, you were born in 56 and you look so youthful. No. If you would hear me creak in the morning, you would say that's not the case. We certainly are not alone in this, not only in school systems, but even in our community. One of our great partners, Trinity Muscatine, is going to be dealing with some facility issues over the next year or so. How are we going to best meet the needs of our healthcare community and meet the code requirements for current hospitals, and what is that going to look like? And again, we're very fortunate in this community. Angie Johnson is providing great leadership for that area. And like so many things in Muscatine, we will make really good decisions based on what's best for our community. We also recognize that we have a population oftentimes that comes to us with great deficits and needs, and we need to do our very best to try and close that achievement gap. So we are very proud of the performance of our district preschools, where our district preschools are doing a great job of getting kids ready for kindergarten, but we need to look at how do we expand that opportunity. So what we are looking at some different initiatives. These are still in the investigative phase, but it's also one of those I think it's really important that we start to have that conversation in this community. We feel that a consolidated preschool center could really bring a great deal of benefit to our community. And this does not mean doing away with our community preschool partners, but our district services would be consolidated. We feel like we could bring better services to kids and to families at a younger age. We want to be able to provide an alternative where people would have an alternative for an all-day program for their 4-year-olds with possible wraparound care for those working parents that really struggle with getting kids to preschool and to work. We've looked at several possible sites for that. We looked at Madison because of its smaller enrollment, but if any of you have been to the Madison building, it's a big building, and we're going to need that space. We looked at Franklin, but you know, if you look at the value that Franklin brings to the south end, it would be a real void if that were not there. We looked at Mulberry, but I think there is some great opportunity for some potential enrollment growth there with some future developments. And so what we're settling on and looking at, investigating, is using Colorado as an early childhood center. It has a relatively small enrollment, but it is also our smallest physical plant Elementary, which means it doesn't have a lot of room for growth. So we're still looking at the feasibility of that. When we have more definitive answers, we will certainly have a community conversation about that. But by looking at moving our preschools to a site, it also would allow us to move our sixth graders back to the elementary buildings. And this is something I have some passion for. We have noticed in the data since I got here, we lose kids in middle school. And it's not because our middle school people aren't working hard. They're working hard every day. And any of you have a middle school child or a middle school grandchild, you know how hard these folks are working every day. But the reality of it is, and there is research, particularly there was a significant study done by Duke University that shows that if sixth graders stay in an elementary building, they tend to have higher performance than sixth graders in a middle school building. They also tend to have fewer behavior issues. Part of that, I think, is because elementary buildings just tend to be more nurturing. There's still some taking care of, and they're not just thrown into a larger setting. I can tell you this as a grandparent, if we can do anything to save a year of a child's childhood and to keep them maybe a little more removed from older influence, I think we owe it to those kids. I think we can do better for our kids. I think we'll do better for those sixth graders. I think they can also bring a level of leadership to elementary buildings that will be good for the other kids. The other side of that, we know our middle school performance isn't where we would like it to be either. And I think if we could have a configuration that is a 7-8 building with its purpose is to make sure that kids are ready for 9th grade, we can really serve our kids better. 9th grade is the critical year for high school. Kids that pick up poor habits in 9th grade, fail courses, attendance issues, behavior issues, their odds of dropping out of school more than double. So if we can do more for those kids and prepare them to be better as 9th graders, I think we can not only improve our whole district's performance, but we can change kids' lives. We are also looking at a new science wing at the high school. The science department, the science labs at the high school are inadequate. They were inadequate probably 20 years ago. They're too small. They're some of the smallest science labs, my guess is, in the area. They don't provide space for kids to be engaged in science as science is today. So we are looking at that, which I think will not only be a great place for science learning, it's going to be a great marketing tool for our district and something the entire community can take pride in. Now, when you add space, you're saying, well, listen, you're talking about declining enrollment, you're adding space to high school, what are you going to do with all that extra space? Whenever you add space to in a building, you're adding utility costs, you're adding custodial care, you're adding all of that. In order to mitigate that, what we would be looking at is moving the operations in this building to the high school. This would allow us then to close this facility. I think this facility has some value, or at least the land that it sits on has a lot of value. There's not a lot of development area on Mulberry. And I think this could be a bonus for the district, as well as I think there's something to be said for having these operations in a school building. So there's a lot of stuff, and to give you some sense of a rough timetable of this, this next spring we would hope to start work on the new science wing. The other big project we're looking at digging into literally this spring is renovations at McKinley Elementary. I don't know if any of you have been in McKinley Elementary, but its lunchroom isn't this large for well over 400 kids. It was probably inadequate when it was built. We want to be able to increase that size, but also put on some additional classes. If any of you have been at the West McKinley area before or after school, God bless you. It is kind of a traffic nightmare. And so we're also looking at a different drop-off egress route for both McKinley and for West to help with that traffic. So we would hope that work would begin this spring. I have great optimism that we could have an early childhood center up and running next fall. Next fall, we would have West and Central both operating as 7-8 buildings, with the intent that the next fall we would move to a single middle school building at West. We are having some conversations with some folks in town about what we could do with the central building. We certainly have a high interest in making sure that the theater or the gym can be saved for community use. It's extremely important. So we're starting those conversations. And then sometime probably in 18 months or so from there, this building's operations would be moved to the high school. These things are not being done just because, oh, wouldn't that be fun, and wouldn't that be fun projects to be involved in. We feel like doing this, we're going to continue to be able to serve our kids' education mission, but more importantly, we're going to keep our system financially fit. We cannot have more facilities than we need. We have to control our fixed cost. By being able to control our fixed costs, we can continue to be in a state where we can provide the kind of programs that you heard about today. Those are what we offer kids in the classroom is the most important thing. I don't ever want to be in a position where we have to cut back on programs or opportunities for kids because we didn't make some hard decisions about how we control our finances. I really, again, it sounds kind of down and dreary. I'm really excited about this. We have a great opportunity in this town. We have so many good things going on in Muscatine. And folks, and Mike hit the nail on the head, we've got to, as a community, start talking up our town. We've got to talk up our school system. We've got to talk up our opportunities. Because, folks, if we don't, who do you think's going to? Do you think people in the Quad Cities are going to be talking about, we ought to be in Muscatine? Do you think people in Iowa City are going to be talking about it? Do you think we have to be our marketers. And if we can't talk about the positive things that are going on, and we can't celebrate those things, who's going to? And folks, I've said this before, this is a great place to be. It's a great place for your kids to go to school. It's a great place to have a business, and it can even be better. And the kind of leadership that you have in this community, in the business world, in the other professions, we are on the upswing, and it's an exciting time to be a Muskie. So thank you, folks. I really appreciate you being here. I know you have a lot of things on your plate today, but I really hope you can go forward and share a couple of things that maybe you heard today, and we can get this ball rolling. Are there any questions, particularly easy questions, that you'd like to ask? Folks, thanks again, and I want to thank all of you for the opportunity that I have to serve your district, and again, I want to thank our board for the opportunity to do all the things that we can do for our kids. Thank you very much, and thanks for coming again.